Bali reporting there from India. At the last census, more than 120,000 people were estimated to be experiencing homelessness in Australia, and nearly 8,000 were rough sleeping. One man who's trying to put a roof over more heads is the founder of an organisation called Housing All Australians, and that's Rob Pradolin, who joins us now from Melbourne. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Guy.
You are sounding a call to arms to corporate Australia to help those in need. What do you want companies to do?
Look, I think this issue is too big for governments to solve alone. It is actually a whole of a community problem, and that includes business. So with organisations that support us around the country now, because we're in every state and territory except Northern Territory, we're calling business to actually lend a hand to help this country with its housing crisis, because it's just too big for government alone.
So what exactly do you want these companies to do?
Well, we have companies like Metricon, Henley, Mirvac, Hanson Young, all contributing their skills and services to refurbish some of the existing buildings that are sitting vacant. Now, as part of I'm a former developer, I am a capitalist, but it doesn't mean we don't care about vulnerable people. So what we're doing is we're galvanising the private sector to actually refurbish some of these buildings and give it to a not-for-profit to help vulnerable people. And we have a philosophy that if every business does a little bit, collectively we can do a lot, and we can help this country and create housing as a pressure relief valve, because it already exists, while we build the hundreds of thousands of homes that our country actually needs.
Earlier this month there was a hotel chain that donated its old furniture when it was replacing the furniture. They donated their furniture to a new women's shelter in Tasmania. How do we make these kind of planets align more often to get more bang for our buck with these kinds of donations?
It's collaboration. And Cresta Pub and Hotels and their parent company, the Ascot Group, donated $500,000 of furniture to a refurbish of an existing building in Hobart that we are helping Vinnie's to actually refurbish. And we are doing it with the private sector, the compassionate capitalism that exists down there. Dulux, for argument's sake, has donated all the paint, and in fact they're donating all the paint to every project nationally. It's a matter of coordinating it through a common compassionate capitalist lens, because ultimately this is an economic problem as well as a social problem.
You say you're a capitalist. Well, what's in it for the business then?
Well, from the business point of view, we've got a long-term interest in our country. We take a long-term view. It is our grandchildren that are going to be really suffering more so than what they are doing today. But the concern I have is that our social cohesion is slowly evaporating because we're allowing homelessness to be normalised. And homelessness is the canary in the coal mine to a much broader issue in our housing continuum. And having lived and breathed property all my life, this is not going to be solved overnight. It's actually happened over the last 30 to 40 years, and it's going to take at least that time to actually resolve it if we start seriously. And we must have a bipartisan approach. This is much more than politics, because without shelter, a human being has unintended consequences that span into physical and mental health, family violence, justice, policing, long-term welfare dependency. But with a roof over someone's head, they can become a productive citizen, and that's what we're all about.
So what does the future of the Australian economy look like if we don't effectively tackle homelessness?
I think it's going to be a polarising society that we're creating, and business will actually have to buy buildings, as they are doing now, to house their employees. Otherwise, they're not going to get the right employees close to where they service them. In Victoria, the Sorrento Hotel had to buy an old age care facility to house its workers. The Daylesford Cafe, again in Victoria, had to buy an old age care facility to house its workers. It is a business problem around the country. Some businesses are not efficient. They're running at 60% efficiency in Queensland, for argument's sake, because they can't find housing for its workers. We have to declare war on homelessness and housing, because during war, times of war, enemies unite in the national interest. This is something that must go beyond politics. And what we are trying to do is create respectful unrest by educating the public about what they don't know. Because without respectful unrest, there is never any political self-interest.
Rob Pradolin in Melbourne from Housing All Australians. Good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy.